Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on June 7th, 2024 at approximately 4:30 p.m. PST. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the same tools I personally use in my day-to-day life. And the same tools have helped literally thousands of others with varying degrees of success, depending on their own personal efforts. Now, with this in mind, today we are looking at self-confidence and its impact on your personal success. Now, the funny part about it is you can look at this from a negative standpoint if you'd like. Some people get carried away with the self-confidence thing and it becomes cocky, or if you take it to extremes, you all of a sudden get a godplex. In other words, I'm better than everybody. I'm that good. I'm just going to beat everybody at it. I'm not personally interested in beating anybody at what I'm doing except me. Okay, as in, I compete with the gentleman in the mirror, and I'll use the term gentleman a little loosely. Okay, but it is time, quite frankly, to quit playing around, to quit sitting in the shadows. It's time for me to step up and say, okay, I'm telling you this works. Time to make it happen. Joe Stewart, you are in with the gold. How you doing? Things have got to be getting interesting for you, although I'm guessing if I recall correctly, you said later at night, you don't see it, or because it's light later, you don't tend to see as much. Steve Knox, you are in with the silver. Welcome aboard. Now, there is a very fine line, and where's my little sheet here? Because I got to get things organized. There's a very fine line between self-confidence and arrogance. Okay, now, I absolutely know, not because I'm the best there is. Okay, I'm absolutely not. But I absolutely know I am going to build an empire that is self-supporting, self-sustaining, and self-expanding. Now, right now, I could not be in worse shape, I don't think. I said I'd hit the bottom and I was on the upswing. Forgot to take into consideration that three bump drop. I was coming financially, I was coming down. I hit a point where I figured I got it. But the momentum of the descent, with other things in the background, it went over the lip and dropped again. Okay. Yeah, well, you're not getting talked to today. We'll talk to you tomorrow. There. Now it doesn't ring as much. One of the drawbacks, actually, I'll talk to him later tonight, but that's beside the point. Anyway, I hit the water. Okay, as far down as I thought I could go, and went straight underwater. So, if we look at the axiom that a man is not a man, call it a person, is not gauged by the height to which they climb, so much as by the depth from which they have climbed. Literally speaking, I hit as close to the bottom as I can get. I managed to grab Rent together. But I'm looking at this going, okay, I know I've made mistakes. I've done stupid things. Okay, I call it stupid for me because I knew better. Did it anyway. However, I can now look in the mirror and go, I know what I did wrong. I'm not doing that anymore. And literally, I talk to you about to break a habit takes an average of 21 days. Average, break the habit or form it. Now, here's the neat thing. And we have Ken Stockley, you are in with the bronze. Glad you could make it. Because today, quite seriously, today is where all of you, if you pick the tools up, are going to start improving your lives. I am fully confident in this, not because I figure I'm the best teacher. Let's face it. There are phenomenally successful people out there that have done so, well, quite frankly, by walking on other people and by riding other people's shirts, shirt tails. Now, I'm not about to say I'm better than other people. I'm barely good at being me. But I will tell you this. We start with the obvious. Okay. Now, self-confidence, quite seriously, these neat little 4 words. Okay. Those 4 words right there. I am worth it. That's the backbone of your self-confidence. If you haven't done so already, get these 4 words, copy them down, get them on your fridge. Okay. Now, I've got those same 4 words. They are the most powerful combination of 4 words. Okay. They are the most powerful combination of 4 words that I have personally come across regarding building self-confidence, self-esteem, self-actualization, self-awareness. You get the picture. Okay. You'll notice it all boils down to self. Okay. And yet, if you look at the initials, it's Iowa, which for those of you in the States, spelled differently. Okay, pronounced the same way, but spelled differently, which I believe is classified as homonym, if I remember my English properly. But when you take a look in the mirror, and before I get to that, Joe is just sharing, this morning I wrote a dream in my dream journal 3. And then after that, I just started journaling a lot of what was on my mind. I was writing quite heavily in it and of just stuff. That is literally what I end up doing myself. Okay. Although I do it on a loose leaf sheet and then move it to soft copy. Okay. Now, the neat part about this is when you get your head on straight and you go, okay, I know my past has problems. By the way, your past is the last nanosecond. Okay, and just that far. Now, if you think that change is scary or change is painful, change takes time, all of those sentences, all of those words I just uttered cause change. Okay, if you're not writhing on the floor right now, then change doesn't hurt. Okay, you have been taught, as was I, to fear change, to stick with the stable, with the easy thing. I'm telling you, it's a bad idea. Only I'm telling you this from practical experience. Now, these neat little things, I am doing my level best to remember. Yes, I require them to be able to read what's on the computer a lot of the time. But I'm starting to be able to read without them. And this is because I am fully convinced that my body will heal. Okay, it already has healed a staggering amount. Self-confidence is what will bring you success. Okay, but be careful you don't go, I know what I'm doing, so I can do this. That's a great idea. But watch for the people that have done it successfully before. And this is why I wrote this. There's a lot of books out there on self-awareness, on self-control, that sort of thing. Okay, this one literally gives you the backbone of what I did to personally change my life. Now, what popped up there? Can't quite read that. Yeah. LA's just sharing, one of the best ways I know of is to keep a diary and a dream diary. Dreams are about what we're experiencing at the moment. You pair them and you'll realize more and more that your dream and what your dreams are saying. This is essentially correct. I personally just put it all in one. Okay. Now, whether you call it a diary or a journal, okay, doesn't matter. Put it in. Also, the other thing to remember about dreams, most people go, dreams are what you dream about while you're sleeping. I'm a firm believer that dreams are what you target as well. For instance, I'm building an empire. I'm already global. Okay. And the whole catch to it is this. When you decide you're going to be successful for you, not compared to anybody else. Okay. Couple of simple markers to determine whether you're successful in the material world. Do you have a stable enough income to cover your living expenses, rent, utilities, some entertainment, one credit card, and your savings? Okay. If you do, Steve, the answer to your question, Steve's just asking, does daydreaming count? Absolutely. Let me ask you this, and let me find it here. Okay, let me ask you this. How do you go about deciding that you're going to complete a goal? Now, some people say, oh, I plan for what I'm doing. Planning is daydreaming. Okay, what you're doing, yeah. And he goes, absolutely. Visioning is part of dreaming, is part of dreams. You know, you're daydreaming about a world where money comes in and you got more than what you require to go out and cover bills. Okay, this is the essence of dreaming. I wish my world were better. Or I wish I was an Oscar Mayer wiener. Now, do not wish for that. It ends up taking on a whole different ballgame. And in case you forget about the Oscar Mayer wiener issue, a lot of people ate them. This is going to really screw up your day. But from what I gather, the Oscar Mayer wiener was not made of human parts. Just about everything else. But, so when you take a look in the mirror and you go with self-imbued confidence and you say, I am going to do this. I'm going to attain this. Okay, that is part and parcel of the situation. Now, confidence boils down to this. Somebody asks you a question. The trick there, Steve, when you get focused on it, okay, when you get focused on a dream. Now, here's what I'm referring to. Okay, now, yes, this is the Bible. Okay, and no, I'm not going to start quoting passages out of the Bible. Oh, here, I'll give you a quote out of the Bible. Just to appease some of those of you that think that that's the way to go. Watch this. Now, I'm going to read this straight out of the Bible. Okay, you're going to love this one. Where are we here? Now, this is literally out of the Bible. Yourselves to them or yourselves to them or. Now, that is quoted straight out of the Bible. And that's about as much as I'm going to focus on. Okay, I kid you not, this literally comes out of, just to keep you on the same track here. That comes out, where are we? Kings chapter 17, verse 35. Now, you'll notice it was only a partial sentence. Here's the thing about quoting passages from the Bible, passages from any self-help book. You can take words out of it, leave words out of it. All of those words are right in there, but they're right out of context. Now, in context, I am building an empire. Okay, you are building a successful future. The key to it is look at everything you've done in the past, including and ending at the last nanosecond, which I believe, and I'll get corrected on this if I'm wrong, I believe a nanosecond boils down to 1/1000th of a second. Okay, everything in the past you cannot undo. Sorry, guys, the idea of going back in time and changing it doesn't work. However, okay, you can take what you've done in the past, learn from it. Please learn from it. Lord knows I took long enough. Time for you not to. Do yourself a favor. avoid repeating the same miscalculations I did. Okay. Now, I call it true ignorance if you honestly don't know better. Self-confidence comes from the awareness that what you did in the past, you are now responsible for whether or not you repeat it. Okay. And knowing here, not just in your mind, but in your heart, that you can overcome things, that you can do better, is what is going to open that door. You know, why, pray tell, did I put that down and forgot what to do with it? See, this is the thing. Oh, good thing I didn't sit down. Steve goes, I have a dream of something. A few days or weeks, that dream will manifest. Well, I'm hoping that you're not dreaming of the world coming to an end, because that would screw up my day. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Storm just confirmed. Oh, a millisecond is 1/1000th of a second. So that begs the question of what a nanosecond actually is. Oh, nanosecond. Now that gives you an idea how tight we're talking. Absolutely, and here's the thing: self-confidence. Now I'm on the last 3 or 4 pages of Return to Paradise today. Now, 2 days ago, I said this is what I'm going to complete. I have now tied off all but about 3 or 4 pages in near the end of Return to Paradise. Then I finish off final edit, and we're going to print. Okay. So this is an issue of get your mindset on what you desire your future to look like. Okay. I mean, yes, I'm a little on the warm side right now, which is why I got my window open and I'm in this outfit. Not a great look. I just don't have, I'm just not what you would call the perfect rendition of physical fitness. Although I'm in better shape than I have been. You notice, Joe, like Joe's just saying, I absolutely love writing. That's my problem. Or my benefit, I don't know. But when you enjoy doing something, it's no longer work. Now, the reality is the positive perspectives and positive perceptions are both things I enjoy doing. And by the way, before I forget, tonight, 9 p.m. Pacific until 11 p.m. Pacific, I will be on Spaced Out Radio, with the ET Connection. But you take a look at the world, at what your world is, and go, okay, this is what I'm aiming for. This is what I'm building. And as the saying goes, devil take the hindmost. Okay. It falls under the same category of if you're out in the woods, you don't have to outrun a grizzly bear. You just have to outrun your friends. The grizzly bear will stop at the slow one. Now, I'm going I'm going to the top. That's all there is to it. I haven't figured out what the top looks like yet. But since I've been warned it's lonely at the top, I'm taking everybody with me that cares to go. The reality that I look at is this. I know I can pull this off. I just had to get out of my own way. Now, the reality behind it is this. When I take a look at the world, when I take a look at my world, I go, I'm not content where I'm sitting right now. So I'm going to change it. And all the well wishes in the world, I appreciate them. But the fact of the matter is, and this goes for you as well, you desire your life to change. God's not going to do it. The aliens aren't going to come down and fix your life. You're going to. Okay? All the input from the greatest minds in the world are not going to change your life. You're going to do it. So here's what you do. Take a look at one thing you're not content with. Now, I'm taking a big thing. I'm not content with the fact it's taken me this long to get to tie off some of the books I've been working on. last year, as in 2023, was a scrambled mess. The fact of the matter is, I did that to me. I let my own mind go sideways. Now I'm looking at it going, I'm going to pull it together. I just got because I'm halfway through right now, I've got only 3 or 4 pages of Return to Paradise from left to right. Then I can go into final edit and go to print. Okay. Book 1, where it all began, is already half written. Okay. So now we start moving forward. But when you take a look at self-confidence, this is the real backbone to it. Whether you believe you can do it or you believe you cannot. Either way, you're ultimately going to prove yourself right. Okay. You may well be surrounded by people saying, oh, you can't do it. Don't write your name because you can't make money writing. I'm not sure. But let me ask you this. Ever hear of a chap by the name of Stephen King? Or maybe Danielle Steele? Okay. What is the one fundamental difference between yourself and them? Or if you want to put it a little disconnected, what is the difference between them and myself? Why is it that I should believe I can't make money if they did? Okay, don't go into music because you can't make money in music. I'm thinking Gene Simmons and I don't know, possibly John Lennon, Elvis Presley. They may have had a little bit of success with singing. Okay, now I'm not going into singing. Okay, primarily because that's kind of like listening to a caterwaul. Self-confidence says, I can do it. Okay, self-awareness says, I'm not entirely certain how yet, so I'll ask. Talk to anybody that has successfully done something you haven't. Okay, and this is why I say, if you've got questions in this stream, okay, draw in the stream, put them in the room, in all caps preferably, so I can spot them, or drop me a line, doesn't matter. Okay, I will do my best to answer. I won't necessarily tell you what you want to hear, but I will be honest. And I'm certainly not going to tell you you're not good enough. Let me paint a picture for you. Okay. Lots of people are told, oh, don't go into painting. You can't make money until you're dead. I knew a guy personally, okay, that took an off-white. He took a normal painted canvas. Okay. Took the canvas. And all he did was whitewash it with an off-white. Thick in some places, thin in others. It was just paint, dip, paint, just back and forth and up and down. Stopped. Framed it in baseboard edging. What you put at the bottom of a wall. Okay. He framed it in baseboard edging. Called the painting Whiteout and sold it for a mind-boggling $1 million while he was alive and while he was unknown. Okay, how he pulled it off, I have no idea. I am not a functional, art critic. By the way, Steve, if misery likes company, would not, by my estimation, 75% of the people be huddled together and crying and whining about how bad their life is, instead of hiding from everybody and anonymously or just to the window, sit there curled up in the corner in their room going, my life is miserable. Okay, if misery likes company, wouldn't they gather together? So my suspicion is people that are miserable, or my experience is people that are miserable push others, including those that care, away from them. Now, to be clear, I had a bad run when I was in Reno, where I went through a pretty bad wake-up call. My other half sat beside me through it. Okay. Now, did I tell her to leave? No. The only thing I told her to do, okay, was don't grab hold of my hand, because my hand was spasming, my right hand. And I know from practical experience that the strength in my right hand, when it spasms, can break bones. Okay, because it's not controlled. So she just put her hand on my forearm. Now, the reality of it is this. When you're looking at, when you're looking at misery doesn't like company. That is a lie that the people in positions of power will tell you to make you feel okay about being miserable. It's okay, everybody's miserable. No, it really is not okay that everybody is miserable. Not in my eyes. And this is why I refuse, in positive perspectives, I refuse to go, here's the bad news, the world's going to end. Well, the world is going to end. Bad news, world's going to end. The good news, it'll be a couple of billion years. Okay. There was a whole bunch of things like that. There was a whole list of things, good news, bad news. There used to be a really good song about that. Joe goes, our old tractor died a month ago. Drive system finally quit. So helping my parents find a new tractor lawnmower. Growth getting, got my cursor in the wrong place. Oh, grass getting pretty bad entirely. See, now that's the thing, Joe. When I was growing up, we had a neat little setup. Our grass grew so fast, it was insane. So, and again, do not do this. No, we're just not going to tell you. Okay, we had a way of solving the problem with long grass when I was growing up at a time where, if you know how to do it, it's perfectly safe. And I'm just thinking, I'm on a live feed. This is one of those things. I'm not telling you because some genius is going to go out there and do it and go, well, Keith said I should do it this way. No, Keith flat out said don't. Okay, because the people today do not tend to pay enough attention to what's going. Oh, I have no idea why, because I can read it perfectly. Steve's just saying I don't see Joe's comment. Steve, the best I can suggest, I'm no techie here. Okay. But the best I can suggest is to refresh. There's an excellent idea there, LA. LA goes, rent a goat or offer your grass to a person raising them. They trim stuff really quick. Oh. Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes that happens. Hopefully Joe will pipe up and go, yeah, he retracted it, because it doesn't show retracted on my end. Okay, but here's the thing. Self-confidence says, this is the picture I'm seeing. This is what I'm designing. LA goes, YouTube's AI is pretty squirrely. Yeah, this is what people are focusing on. Everybody's talking about building AI, artificial intelligence. I'm talking about reminding you about real intelligence. Okay, now I am not the brightest brick, and I'm not the brightest bulb in the pack. I just happen to remember what I've seen in the past. Okay, and the thing we have to look at is this. If you believe you can do nothing to change your life, then the odds are you're right. Okay, because you've already given up before you even got started. Okay. If you believe you're not aware of how to change things in your life, open your mouth. Okay. All I can suggest is put your question in the chat room. I'll be more than happy to answer as best I can. Okay. One of the biggest things we have to look at is we have the ability. Oh, there we go. Thanks, LA. This is why I've got LA and Storm working, because they can do things that I could only dream of doing. My brother, on the other hand, was very much like Storm is. Okay. My brother would look at a computer and go, "You're going to do this." And you can bet your bottom dollar it was going to. Oh, there we go. There is the solution right there. Joe goes, "Oops, sorry about that." Well, I added the oops. I deleted that comment accidentally. Not a problem, Joe. Solves the problem of technological glitches. But when you've got the self-confidence to say you're going to make your world better, or you're making your world better, that's where it starts. Then you identify what's in the way. Okay, that's when it changes. Is when you start the effort. When you make the adjustments. Pick anywhere in your immediate area that you're not content with. Okay. Now, this here, I've actually got, where's the third one? I don't remember. Oh, I know where the third one is. Well, I ain't getting it. It's up front. Anyway. This, when I go out, I don't have coffee. This is my to-do list. And if you look at it, again, whole pile of things that are checked off. On this list, I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've only got 10 things left on it, which means I've already done 20. That's my active goal list. This one is just what I'm working with writing. That's my notepad in case I require it, which that stays here. Now, the neat part about it is whether you believe you can do something or you can change something, or you believe you can't. In either event, you are likely to prove yourself correct. Now, let me ask you this. Who here would like to change part of your life today, as in now? Because we're going to start doing that. The energy around it is very simple. Okay, and part of the reason I've stepped back from the computer is because I can feel what's going to happen if I don't. Okay, it is imperative that we put our nose to the grindstone, as it were. Careful, you put your nose to the wrong grindstone, you got blood all over the grindstone. So don't get too close. Okay, but it is time that individually and as a group, we look at what's going on with our own world and go, I'm done. I'm changing what's there. Okay, I'm not happy with the way my world is sitting right now, but I can tell you my office currently is devoid of clutter. Like the 5, 10, about 16 feet. That's about 16 feet of desk is clear of everything that doesn't belong there. Okay, it's laid out so I can glance at it and go, this is what I'm doing. You have the same capacity. Maybe not a 16-foot desk. Okay, but there you go. And Joe, that's exactly the way to do it. Joe goes, basically what I was trying to type Me and my parents need a new tractor. And I'm helping them. I'm helping by using a push weed whacker to mow big yards in the meantime. You know, that is a rough way to do it, but you've got the right idea. Okay, you don't have the easy way to do it. You can't go, it's done. Remember that funny show called Bewitched? You know, twinkling little nose to make things happen? And then her daughter, Samantha? We don't have that capacity right now. This does not mean you can't make it happen. But it does mean for the moment, you're going to have to do it the other way. Okay, legs were invented before wheels. So take the best of what you've got access to and work with that. You know, this is one of the biggest, what do we got? Yeah. LA goes, I spent a lifetime trying to get that trick down. Join the club. Okay. I mean, it really boiled down to a neat little discovery I found. Okay. And I've had this corroborated by several witnesses now. Before my stroke, okay, now they tell you as you get older, your body's going to break down. Once you've had a stroke, your health is going to deteriorate. Once you've had a heart attack, you're going to get weaker and weaker and die. As you get older, you're going to get sicker. You're going to get sicker because your immune system collapses. I go, your reality, not mine. Okay, I had the stroke, yes, but through literally sheer willpower and the awareness that my body already knows what's wrong and already has a perfect blueprint, I've discovered things, and this is going to throw people for a loop. And of course, I'll get this issue of, well, where's your proof? I'm not going to give you any. Okay, I'm just done with the idea of giving you the proof. I'll give you the example. You go out and find the proof of it. Okay, but as of about a month, once the stroke happened, about 2 months after it happened, my left hand stopped shaking consistently. Okay, but it was still a little glitchy. So if I was trying to turn on the water tap, it would jolt. About 4 days ago, the jolting, that disconnect ended. And I'm finding I'm now able to start writing left-handed again. What do we got here? Yeah, no doubt. You know, oh, good, Joe. I'm glad you're taking things one step at a time. The thing is, and this is why the list works. If you break an area down, let's say, for instance, and this is literally covered in this book, using your living room as an example. Let's say to clean your living room top to bottom is going to take you roughly 2 hours. Okay. I agree with you, Ellie. Let's say cleaning your living room top to bottom, dusting, vacuuming, removing the clutter, all of it is going to take you about 2 hours. If you sit down and try and do that all in one shot, the odds are you're going to get interrupted. If you get interrupted, what you're left with is, I didn't get, in a nutshell, Steve, I do believe that LA is asking what you mentioned. That's crazy. Yeah, there you are. You figure it's going to take about 2 hours. If you don't get it done, you've got two problems. One, you feel like you got nothing accomplished. Two, you got to find another 2-hour section of time to make it happen. Journals, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Namaste to you as well. Now, the nice little part about it, okay, is you get this 2-hour block. Now you got to find another 2 hours. If, on the other hand, you use this list method, break the living room down into literally parts. Now, in Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams, let's see if I can find the actual section. There we go. Okay, the way I did it was this. Break it down. Break the whole living room down. Clear the coffee table. Clear the floor. Dust. Wash the windows. Vacuum. Now, I break it down more myself, but every section of that you break down to a 15-minute to half-hour break. Okay, what happens? Let's say you only get one thing done. Okay, let's say you only get one thing down. Okay, and it takes you 15 minutes to do it. So, if you get pulled away, what happens is now you only have to find an hour and 45 minutes to finish it off. And you feel like you got something done. Okay. This will help gain your self-confidence, that you can accomplish what you're aiming at. It will get the stuff out of the way. Okay. This is why I say self-confidence, self-confidence, self-awareness, self-worth, it all ties together. You notice that neat little common word, self. Okay, by doing that, you will start to get things cleared. You will get ahead. And yes, I say will because let's face it, if you pick up the tools, they work. Okay, and again, this particular book and any of the books that I work with, okay, this particular one, Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams. Okay, first and foremost, if you'll notice, I've got yourself broken into 2 words. Okay, that book is available through me only at this point, although I am looking for other people I can work with. And if you're interested in that, I'm setting things up to be able to do that. Because I will tell you, the biggest problem I run into is that people turn around and go, they go, I desire it now. Okay. But all of these big corporations that I've tried working with have not fulfilled their contract. They have not fulfilled their claims. Okay. One of the biggest things we have to look at. What do we got here? Oh, herding cats is easy. Not. When you develop the confidence, and that boils down to going, this is what I'm going to do. Absolutely write it down. It gives you proof that you did it because you write it down. When you get something done, check it off. Now, I've done that, and this is why I know this works. We go to this little stack here. Now, some of you around my age recognize these things. They're called duotangs. Okay. This one is those lists I keep showing you. All the way from the beginning, this is January through March. This one is April through June. Well, we're into June now. I've already got July through September set up to go. Okay. So, when you do that, success is not something contrary to popular belief. Success is not something that just happens. Success, subsequently self-confidence that you can pull it together, comes because you pulled it together and you proved to yourself you could do it. Oh, okay. Now, the neat little part about it is, like I've always said, and this is why we watch what's coming through this channel. Because the fact of the matter is, every now and again, we get somebody in here that goes, that breaks the guy on boundaries and goes, I'm doing this. In order to keep this channel running, we cannot afford to let that happen. So yes, some people will run into a problem. Some people are not going to like it. Of course, I've told, and people have asked me questions before, I've gone, here's the answer. And well, I don't like that answer. I got over it. Okay, I'm not known for being subtle for a reason. What I'm telling you is, when you desire your world to change, you will start altering what you're doing. It may go against everything you've tried in the past, but if everything you have tried in the past has failed, does it make any sense to keep doing it? Okay, from my way of thinking, that doesn't add up very well. Now, what we're looking at this point is very simple. I know I'm going to end up building an empire. In other words, I've already got the newsletter. As Joe Stewart pointed out some months back, it's already global. It's small, but it's global. Okay, I will have got positive perceptions. It too is global. Now, the third positive thing I'm looking at is the changes I'm making to my physical environment. Okay, now, yes, if you look here, I've got stuff I'm still working on. Now, this is one of those weird things, and I don't think I've ever shown this one. But, like I said, I'm absolutely a firm believer in God and in Christ. And no, I'm not going down that road very far, but I will tell you this. This is literally the only painting I've seen that sort of got it right. Now, bear in mind, and I'm going to read this right on the back here, is a letter of authenticity. This is a fine art. It says certificate of authenticity, fine art reproduction, hand gilded with 23 karat gold, documentation, mystical supper, iconographer Mariana Savern of Edmonton, Alberta, Saint Vladimir Ukrainian Catholic Church, Icostasis, in Red Deer, 1992. Original size of this painting was 18 by 22. And it says at the bottom, this is to certify that this reproduction has been reproduced from the iconographer's original and has been personally gilded by the iconographer. Now, the reason I show you this is because in this particular picture, then you can blow it up later, okay? In this particular picture, no, it's not going up for grabs. You've got 12 disciples, but here's the kicker. Female, female, and female. 3 out of 12 are shown as female. Okay, now you get to figure out whether or not you believe this one or whether you believe what you've been told. Now, I have full confidence that this is great, except that this is accurate, except for one little detail, and that's the table itself. But here's the thing. I'm living my life based on what I believe. You're living your life based on what you believe. When you get into, and this is where self-confidence comes in extremely necessary, when you get into a discussion with somebody, okay, no matter how controversial the concept is, if you walk away from that discussion or that debate, and you're questioning what you've been believing, okay, if you're questioning your belief, then number one, And I'm talking legitimately. Okay. If you're legitimately questioning your belief, then your belief has a flaw in it. You may not know what the flaw is, but there's one in it. If you walk away going, I'm still solidly convinced of what I believe, be careful to not get caught up in delusional. Yeah, Ellie goes, in the actual stream, we have to adhere to the rules or face consequences. Hence our insistence that our rules here are followed. You're absolutely correct, Joe. It is. Like I said, Joe's just saying that's a Jesus picture. Absolutely it is. Okay. And this is why I've said I've made no bones about it. I absolutely believe in God and in Jesus Christ. What I don't believe in, and it's me personally, okay, I don't believe in what's being taught. Okay, and there's a lot of reasons for that. I'm not going to go into them here. Christine, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Oh, excellent. I've got, as soon as I get done this stream, I'm putting on a slow cooker full of for soup. Oh, what we got? Oh, Christine goes, I haven't checked my mailbox in a few days, so I may have received. That'd be great. Yeah, it's funny. I've managed now. I'm over halfway through writing Believe in Your Organization and Follow Your Dreams. Again, like all of the Believe in Your series, okay, all of them are being marketed at the same price, $20 Canadian in your hand. Okay, if you're in Canada or the continental US. It may be more for other areas. Okay, I'm still working on modifying that. What did we miss here? Steve, in a nutshell, okay, and I'm quite flat about this. How is another question. I won't tell you the exact, well, I will tell you how do I know that the Last Supper is accurate. What, gotta scroll that back up. How do you know that Last Supper is accurate? Okay. Now, in a nutshell, the answer is yes. I remember my lifetime 2,000 years ago. I spent quite seriously from, I think it was about 300 BC until I'm guessing, no, it ended in foot. So I've spent about 600 years in various positions through, in Rome, in Italy, okay, in the Middle East. I spent about 600 years there in about 4 or 5 or 6 different lifetimes. Okay, now, can I prove it? Not a snowball's prayer. Okay, but the other thing that I look at is this, and there's a whole lot to it. When I look at my past lives, I've had way too many people corroborate them. I mean, total strangers that have corroborated them. Okay, so do I recall things? Absolutely. Even if we come into modern day, I was at a UFO conference one day, and I laid out the crash site in Roswell, and was told flat out by one of the people. They said, "How do you know that?" So I remember it, and she goes, "Well, it was never. That is the way it was. That's how my grandfather laid it out. But it was never published. How do you know?" I said, "Like I said, I remember it." Okay, same thing happened in multiple different lifetimes of mine. And like I said, I've come here multiple times to remind people it's time you get along. You desire to know the truth about religion, about spirituality, get along with the people around you. Every one of the primary spiritual paths, every one of them has part of the truth. Okay, none of them have the whole picture. And in all fairness, they've all been given the whole picture, but none of them took the whole picture. Okay, it's very much like healing. Okay, now, you take a look at healing. We have modern medicine. We have your physical medicine. We've got naturopathic medicine. We've got psychology. Okay, you've got the spirituality side of it. You've got your chakras. You've got the energy kind, the ley lines. All of these things are just little glimpses of the whole. When you get out of your way and go, I know just enough to know I don't know enough, which is the path I'm on. Okay, and where are we here? Yeah, I just got that. Steve was asking, how do I know the Last Supper is accurate? Right, and he goes, without getting into heavy religion. Now, the neat thing about it is this. I will tell you wholeheartedly, okay, when I go down to see Storm and Leanne, we are going to do some work on opening up my healing capacity, because I have reason to believe that simple proximity is all it's going to take for me to make major changes on behalf of other people desiring it. Thing is this, I'm tired of being blind. I'm tired of having, the shakes. And I'm certainly tired of having my heart go, not going to work right now. No fun. Not going to do it anymore. I am absolutely convinced. And maybe I'm just psychotic and delusional. You figure it out. But I am absolutely convinced that everything that I used to do, can be done again. The talent is still there. The ability is still there. You have the capacity to heal your own body. But I will tell you this. I will tell you this very imperatively. You've got the ability to heal. However, if you have not maxed it out yet, definitely turn to, and you'll love this one, turn to modern medicine, turn to naturopathy, turn to psychology, whatever you require to give you a temporary crutch until you can overcome it, until you can rewrite the system. Oh, I appreciate that, Christine. Christine's just suggesting, she goes, may all those symptoms retreat. I'm actually not interested in them just retreating. I'm rewriting them so they're gone. I no longer figure there's much of a point to it. Whoa, how you doing? Glad you could join us. The neat part about it is, and I'm not running, I've only got the one stream up, which is one of the reasons why this seems to be running recently. Okay, I am a firm believer that when you put your mind to it, and literally, when your mind can conceive it and your heart can believe it, you can achieve it. Will you? That's your call. Okay, I have the ability to look at you and go, I know you can do it. Okay, I can yank a movie title out, or a series title out of the 70s. You can do it, Duffy Moon. Fill your own name in. You can do it, Christine. You can do it, Woo Rider CG. Okay, you guys have the capacity to do everything that, as the saying goes, all that I do, thou shalt do, and more. Okay, everything I do, I can literally show other people how to do. I can explain it now. Now, when I first figured out how to explain, when I figured out how to explain the OTE drive, the star drive, when I first figured out how to explain it, It took me 2 hours because I do not have modern day training in rocketry or astrophysics. Okay. But what I do have is an understanding of how it works. I laid it out. It took me 2 hours to do it. But I managed to do it to somebody with a master's in rocketry and astrophysics. Now, if you've got basic physics, I can explain it in under 5 minutes. Okay. But the reality is, I'm not the one to build tech. Okay. I am still having a lot of challenges on that end. But the energy of success boils down to the backbone of one thing. Do you believe you can do it? Not necessarily right now. Maybe it's a question of, I know I can do it, but I'm missing pieces of information. Okay, talk to somebody that has done it successfully. Okay, back in grade 10, I wrote a storyline. This is the side effect of that. Now, in grade 10, I was 15. Okay, this is 50 years later, 46 actually. Okay, but it is now in physical print. That's just the reality of it. Now, I will tell you, I am coming down the tickets are already bought. So I will be down in Salt Lake City for a little bit of time in the middle of August. And I will be down in Las Cruces near El Paso, Texas for a week as well. If you desire one of the books that I've got, okay, absolutely. I will bring it down. You won't have to pay shipping because I'm coming anyway. Okay, but if you go to the link at the top of the stream where it says buy me a coffee, you can see all of my books written there. Now, I know where the price is on them. Steve, as you got older, the problem is, in a nutshell, because Steve's just volunteering, as I got older, my confidence got less and less. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're like I was, you tried doing what everybody else said you had to do. That can't be done. So you bought into it, went, I can't do that anymore. Okay, if you bought into that, that's where the problem comes. So start back at the beginning. Don't worry about where you're standing now. Look at it and go, gee, I don't know if I can do that. I have no doubt about it. However, do you know for certain you can't do that? Now, let's be realistic here. I think I can fly. Great. Absolutely no problem. Put it to the test. Go to a curb, or at the highest, go to a chair. Climb up on the chair, concentrate and go, I'm going to fly, and jump off. You got a 2-foot drop. You're not likely to break anything. Off a curb, you got like a 4-inch drop. Okay, use your brains. Okay, you can accomplish almost anything, but it's a question of doing it one step at a time. Absolutely, push your limits. Figure out what you desire to do, and tell yourself, not only I can do it, but I am doing it. I love the bumper sticker that came out in the 70s. I really wish those of you that say it can't be done would keep quiet and get out of the way while I'm doing it. Ultimately, Steve, yes, it is sort of mind over matter. Now, depending on what it is, it boils down to mind over mind. Okay, in other words, I believe I can do it. Therefore, I am open to figuring it out, to accepting the new teachings that I am going to succeed. You can buy into what everybody else says. Now, there was a gentleman that came to me, about 5 years ago. And he goes, I really wish I had listened to you. Right. I looked at the kid and I says, about what? He says, you told me that I did. Then when I talked to him originally, he was in high school. And I told him, well, he relayed this. He says, you told me I don't have to have my life in order by the time I'm 20. You told me this daily. He said, I wish I had listened. Right. And I looked at him and I said, oh. He says, well, look. He says, the problem was everybody out there is telling you you can't do it. You've got to have your life in order. He says, so what he does, he goes, I did what I was told. And I got into a career because it was a career to make sure my life was in order. He goes, here I am 4 years later. I'm not happy with where I am. If I had listened to you, I wouldn't be in this boat. Now, I will tell you, if you're happy with your life the way it is, stay put. Okay. But if you're sitting there going, oh, I'm happy and I'm broke and I'm miserable and I'm ill, my guess is that's not indicative of happiness. Okay. If you're content, okay, the easiest way to tell, are you truly content? Okay. Are you truly content? Here's the easiest way to figure it out. Do you have the energy to get through the day? Are you looking at the world in a functionally positive fashion? Okay. Are you accomplishing the things that you're setting out to accomplish? If the answer is yes, then things are probably going reasonably well. However, if you're sitting there going, I'm not getting things done that I desire to do, okay, you're not happy. Start making them happen. And this, by putting it down, putting a list together of things that are literally 15 minutes to half an hour in duration, you will start getting them racked off. Okay, when you focus on it, where are we? Who goes, I just opened a Dr. Pepper. Been a few years since I drank a whole can. A sip here and there, but I'm gonna drink this 12-ounce can. Okay, and here's a neat little thing. Whatever you do not laugh while you've got your mouth full of Dr. Pepper. I'm betting it's going to be as painful as doing that when you've got your mouth full of Coke. Or for that matter, any carbonated drink. Okay, yeah, that wasn't nice. I realize that. But when you turn around and you look in the mirror and go, I'm doing this. Okay, as I tell multiple people when they say, oh, you can't do that. I'm like, how about we don't discuss what I can't do? Okay. The reality is, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, the confidence in your own conviction is the backbone to how you're going to change it. Now, the reality of it is this. There are a lot of really good self-help books out there. Really good ones on every topic. Okay. Have I written the best one out there? Probably not. Have I written the best ones as far as I am able to do right now? Pretty much as far as I can go. But here's the reality. Any one of these books, okay, any one of them, if you're looking at your self-esteem, your business, or your finances, okay, and you're not really content with them, then apparently whatever books you've been reading, if any, haven't done the job properly. Okay, that in a nutshell is why I look at this and go, okay, every one of those is $20 Canadian in your hand. That's including shipping. Okay, I look at it going, as I'm talking to you, you've seen me make notes periodically. I haven't actually done that today. But I make notes to make sure I go back and get things sorted out. Didn't want that long anyway. Neat little product plug. Okay. This funny little thing where is the sigil on it. See that? This is a hydro flask. It's literally for me the best one, the best water flask I've come across. Okay, I can fill it with ice water. If I seal it, it'll hold the ice in it for two or three. Well, for usually a day and a half to 2 days. Okay, that's if I close it off. Where are we here? Yeah, LA goes. I've had to reinvent myself several times in my life. My goals now are not what they were when I was 18. There was no preparing for much of what I have done and been faced with. I adapt, overcome. Absolutely. The neat part, I get a kick out of that. The reality is, we're told life doesn't have a book of instructions. Okay. Parents are told this all the time. Okay. What people don't realize is if you pay attention to what you're doing and you make note of what works, you can pass it on to your kids, and net result, what are we? Oh, Joe, you're absolutely a sensitive empath. There is no doubt there in my heart at all. That's the problem. He goes, I can tell they're struggling, but the question is, what are they struggling with? This is what I found. Is more often than not, I can see what they're struggling with. I can certainly see what I'm struggling with. Okay. And this is why I look at it going, okay, if you've got a question in any field, absolutely ask. Now, if I don't know the answer, I'm going to tell you flat out, haven't got a clue. Go talk to these people. Like if somebody goes, my car's damaged, what do I do? Well, I'm extremely mechanically inclined. My father was a sheet metal tech. He put aircraft in the air. 3 of my brothers were very mechanically inclined. I'm more mechanically inclined than they are, than they were. Every single time I was inclined, I went to a mechanic. Okay, I never thought about it. I went, that's where I'm going. Okay, now I can tell you, you desire your life to change. You're the one that's going to have to do the work. I will absolutely turn the lights on. Okay, and yes, I will quite readily look in the mirror and go, you know what you're doing. This is why when I do something stupid, as in I knew better, that's when I'm hardest on myself. Now, the essence, like I said, the essence of self-confidence boils down to take a look at what you're facing. Literally, tell yourself you can do it. You can cope with it. Either on your own or, and there's absolutely no shame in this. Okay. And you're just going to have to take my word for that or try to. Do your best to. There's no shame in asking for assistance. If you don't know what you're doing, ask somebody that you know has done it successfully. Okay. Now, I set out myself. I spotted somebody I desired to have in my life. Okay. They are now in my life. And I am very pleased to say that we talked about it. My other half and I did talk about it. And once we get her across the border, okay, and this is just when she gets across the border to visit, which at present looks like December, I will ask her to marry me. Okay, at that point, we will, assuming she says yes, we will, we will end up with that happening. I have every confidence that this is going to work, and this will be the last relationship I bother with. Okay, primarily because I fully intend to drop dead while I'm in it. About 40 years down the road, give or take. And no, Joe, I absolutely agree with you. You've had the ability, in a nutshell, since you were born. The only thing is I can't, and I don't have the information for, is I don't know how long ago that was. Every single one of you is born with the capacity of self-healing, of accelerating somebody else's healing factor. You've all got the capacity. Problem, you have been taught over the centuries. Okay, you personally, maybe not over the centuries, but society across the board has been taught over the centuries, unless you have this guy, this man-given quality, this man-given title, you're a priest, you're a shaman, you're a doctor. If you are not allocated by man, you've been taught that you don't have the ability. Okay, I'm telling you, you've got the ability. And I've seen it change in people almost overnight. Okay, it's just a question of whether or not you buy into the belief. Whether you believe you can or you believe you cannot. Inevitably, you're likely to be free and likely to be accurate. Okay, I'm going to hand a challenge to you. Pick one thing in your life that you have for the longest time told yourself, I can't do that. Doesn't matter what it is. Maybe it's buttering a piece of toast with your left hand. Maybe that's what you told yourself you can't do. So sit down and make the effort and force yourself to butter your toast with your left hand. Then you'll be able to look at it and go, I can do that. Absolutely there. The reality is, I like this. We're getting a neat little pop up here. Success equals belief plus focused effort. Okay. If you believe you can do it, do understand you will get through the hard times. There will be hard times, but you will get through them. The question is whether or not you get through them and you look at it going, I made it. Or you can go like I did, like I go. I can make this happen. I'm going to make this happen. I'm not perfect. I am not putting myself on a pedestal. Okay. Somebody out there is going, yes, you are. No. I'm no better than you are. Okay. The only thing I've got going for me is a lot of years where I've been working on this same argument with myself. Now, even when I was teaching, okay, when I didn't have a certificate, I've literally taught Sunday school. I taught grade 2s. Okay. I mentored grade 2 kids in getting their life moving in the right direction. You have the same capacity. Okay. This message from Positive Perceptions here that we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. But it's going to take effort. And that's where you guys come in. Okay. Because I'm a firm believer that this is the reality. We give each other a hand up, we will get to the top. In spite of what the so-called leaders are telling us. In spite of what the government, the pedagogues, in other words, the schools, the priesthood, the spiritual guides, in spite of the millions of people and the billions of people, they'll sit there and tell you, you can't do that. Do your best not to believe them. Although, don't get cocky. Okay? If you believe you can fly, this is fantastic. start off on real low jump. Okay, because the whole issue of jumping off a 14-floor building and going, I can fly. I'll tell you, 99% of you, and probably 99.99, you get the idea. Okay, will jump off that building and go. And that'll be the end of the story. Not a fun way to go, but it is quick. By the way, remember that old saying, live fast, die young, leave a good-looking corpse? I'm telling you, I've seen people live fast and die young. Seldom do they have a good-looking corpse. Now, on the other side of that, you wouldn't know it by looking at me, but I have gone through literally dozens of plate glass windows while I was growing up. Okay, I went through a lot of windows, cut myself a lot of times, courtesy of the people around me that I went through the window. I mean, okay, but because of my healing rate, I don't scar well. Again, you've got Steve, the answer to your question is yes. And to put that in perspective, that's literally what this is. But you're asking have I ever gone up in front of a crowd of people? And the answer is yes, I have. Okay. And here's the thing. Okay. If you know of an event that you feel that that I could help people with, absolutely contact them, get them to contact me. Okay. Literally, you can contact me through here or through any of the videos I've got. In a nutshell, the easiest way to find me is Inner Voice Enterprises at yahoo.ca. That's the one I'm into all the time. Okay. It's that simple. Any number of people can show you how to get a hold of me. Again, if you go to Spaced Out Radio, I'm on there regularly. Okay. And absolutely, or more to the point, when I get invited, I will certainly come down and deal with it. I do have prices laid out for what I look for. Okay. Because this I do for free. Okay. Positive perception and perspectives, I do for free. I cannot afford to travel and do the events for free. Mind you, most of the speaking engagements usually cover accommodation. Some cover the flight. Okay. I drive virtually nowhere. Okay. But I've got no fear of flight. I've got a fear of getting lost. And in all fairness, I don't fear getting lost. I fear that I may get lost. I know I'm likely to get lost. No matter how hard I try, that kind of goes sideways. But that said, as long as wherever I'm going, okay, as long as their primary language is English, I can work with it. Who they are, I don't care. I talk this way to any walk of life. Okay. Now, do I walk into the middle of, am I going to walk into a quite literally a drug infested slum? Not without a whole lot of security around me. Okay. I trust me, absolutely. I'm just not stupid enough to walk into a situation where I get that edgy. No fun. But I am quite willing to go into a live setup, or whether it's face-to-face or on somebody's show. Absolutely drop me a line. I will work out a way to get there. We just have to figure out the timing on it. I have no problem with that. The fact of the matter is, you have to believe it's possible. Now, I remember I was at an event one day, and the guy asked for volunteers to come up on stage. So I put my hands on. He goes, "Can I have a vol?" And I put my hand up. He goes, Well, I was going to ask for a volunteer, but apparently I have one. So I came up on stage. He thanked me for being up on stage with him. And he says, now you're going to do exactly what I tell you to do, right? I looked at him and I said, that depends entirely on what you tell me to do. He goes, great. So you're fast on the draw and you think. Right. So he says, well, I'm not going to do anything to embarrass you. It's just a couple of hand signals, and no, they were not the ones you may be thinking of. Okay. But he got me to move my arms in certain fashions. I followed what he said. And he goes, now. He said, thanks very much. And he didn't tell me he was going to do it, didn't tell anybody he was going to do it. But he holds up a $5 bill. Right, he holds it up towards me. He just holds it in the air, and I just picked it out of his hand. He looks at me and he goes, you don't have any problem taking money from people, do you? I says, not if it's offered. Right. And he says, okay. He says, well, that was really quick. What I did right there, was I literally proved I don't and you don't have to have money to make money. These geniuses that tell you you've got to have $10,000 to make money, they are full of it, politely. Okay, to make the kind of money they're talking about using their method does require money. Now, here's the neat thing. This particular book, keep grabbing the wrong one. Believe in your finances and follow your dreams. This requires you have $1 beyond what you require. You don't have to have 10,000. Okay, you have to have a very small amount to make things happen. Okay, the reality of it is, yes, it would be wonderful to make $10,000 overnight. Absolutely, it would be. Okay, I have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, you don't have to have money to make money. You don't have to be an absolutely brilliant individual to get ahead. You have to believe that you've got the possibility, and you've got to put the effort into it. Okay, and this is why I spend so much time writing. Okay, I've got all of this information. When I die, if I don't have it on paper, it's gone. Okay, so we are working at it. Now, I will tell you, I'm going to take this a little sideways here on self-confidence. Okay. Just try not to dislocate my legs. This neat little book, I showed this to you the other day. Okay? Many of you believe in the old method of astrology, being able to tell you what's coming. I'm going to tell you the information in this book, when you learn to read it, and no, I did not memorize it, because take a look at this. That's all numbers. Okay, that's all days. Now, this covers the entire solar system for 100 years. Okay, now I don't remember it. My brother, that'd be a different issue. But when you can look in this, you can find things that say you're going to have a miserable day. If you believe you're going to have a miserable day, if you're confident that your day is going to be garbage, it's going to be. Okay. Because you literally are orchestrating it. Now, I had a client that was a clinical paranoid state. She was a clinical multiple personality. Okay. Now, I'm going to say something here that's going to throw some of you for a loop. I am a firm believer this is a real illness. It is also really, you love this word, curable. I know this because I took this woman Now, I didn't have enough time to get her fully reconnected. But I took this woman living on the street with a whole lot of conversations and her putting the work in. She desired to heal. We end up getting her off the street into a volunteer job and subsidized housing. Okay, where she became a contributing part of society in spite of the obstacles she had. Now, I will tell you this. Okay, this little guy here, this is Christoph. Okay, now, he's doing fine. Well, he is doing fine, but he needs a drink. I can teach him a lot of things. I can learn a lot of things from him. What I can't do is teach him how to walk. Okay, his physiognomy is not set for it. This is what I need. I keep this handy because, well, he needs a drink. So, we're going to give him a drink. There we go. He is a cactus, so that's okay. He doesn't need a whole lot. The other one, I'm going to have to wait for a little bit. But I agree with you wholeheartedly. Okay, LA goes, a cactus not walking is probably in all our favors. Probably. Okay, picture what would happen, as a matter of fact. Some of you guys my age have seen this one. A Venus flytrap. A little bigger. Okay. Anybody remember the Venus flytrap in the corner in Rocky Horror Picture Show? Okay. These things are, oddly enough, real. Okay. Yes, I know it was a movie. I also know I've seen the real ones. Okay, in answer to that question, somebody's sitting on in what you call inner earth or hollow earth. That's where you'll find them at this point. Okay, now the neat part about it is when you accept the confidence that you can make your life better, regardless of what you've been through, once you accept that and you start working towards it so that you actually prove to yourself what you've been and what you're capable of, you will be able to attain the goals you're aiming for. Okay, this is just the reality behind it. Now, I'm certain you can find people that will sit there and go, you're useless, you'll never succeed. You may as well drop out of school and give up on that education because you're not smart enough. Telling you, the dumbest ones around you, okay, not dumbest, the most ill-educated around you, whether you believe you've got the education or not, doesn't matter from the standpoint of me. Okay, I know that you can shift things. I am absolutely quite willing to take the time and help you do so. One of the first things, I've done this multiple times. This method, people go, well, how does writing something down help? Well, number one, it gives you physical representation. It gives you a viable focus. Now, I got done with my finances today. I know what shape I'm in. I also know, and I don't have to prove it to anybody. Okay, I'm doing it for me. Now, if you look, this is not really good. Okay, I don't have a whole pile of muscle comparatively. Am I eventually going to? Certainly, but it's got nothing to do with me going, oh, look, I've got muscles, I'm strong, I'm better than you are. Not a snowball's prayer. Okay. I just got a lot more years than some of you, having walked down the stupid path in life, going, I know better, but I'm going to go do that anyway. The question is, do you believe it's possible that you can take your life, that you can guide your life from where it is to where you'd like it to be? Okay. Just do you believe it is possible? Okay. And given that it is possible, would you be interested in altering that? Now, here's something else I used to do a long time ago, and I'm still willing to. Okay. If you are looking for, now, some of you believe wholeheartedly and actively look for active psychics. What I've done with people in the past is real simple. Okay. And I charge very minimal, really. Oh, there we go. Ellie's just letting us know 25 minutes. You know, I will do psychic readings for people. I do bring cards with me. In all fairness, I don't actually require them. But what I have had people do in the lines of a public speaking engagement is somebody will orchestrate a whole pile of readings, fly me in, okay, arrange for my transportation and my accommodation, and then I go in, do a bunch of readings, whatever works out. Okay, what the person orchestrating it gets, number one, is they end up with a reading for free. Plus, of course, because I work with word of mouth advertising, it works out that way as well. I'm not going into the details right here. But in the Buy Me a Coffee link at the top of the stream, okay, you'll find a link to buy me a coffee. Okay. At that plan, in that location, you can get the request to receive the newsletter and the tag for getting a reading done. Absolutely. Absolutely, LA. LA goes, if you see a positive thing often enough, you'll begin thinking about it positively. Sadly, the same applies. If you see a negative outcome often enough, you'll begin seeing it in a negative fashion. Now, again, it's up to you to change that. Okay. I've had a run of bad situations in the way of relationships. Okay. But the young lass that I'm with now had the backbone and the stubborn streak to say, I'm not going to do that to you, regardless of what you think. Okay. We've been together now going on 4 years. We'll actually be spending our 4th anniversary together in the same place. Okay. We spent our birthdays together this year. We will be spending our 4th anniversary together because we have talked about it and gone, this is what we desire to happen. Now, I will warn you about one little detail. You can think positively all you desire. In a relationship, if you're the only one putting effort into it, even if you're putting 100% effort in, it is only 50% of the required effort. In a nutshell, you cannot save somebody from themselves. Okay, you can certainly turn the lights on, and that's all I'm looking at doing here. I have, with my own past experience, I know the tools I work with work. Okay, I have seen literally over 100,000 clients utilize the tools that I've handed them and successfully alter the path their life was on. Okay, now, yes, you can say, oh, you're inflating that number. Go ahead and say that. I'm not about to try and prove it to anybody. I'm certainly not about to go out of my way to make the effort to. I will tell you, it's a simple issue for me. When somebody comes to me for a question on how to do something, I've got the confidence here to know you ask me a question. I'm either going to have the answer. I may not be able to tell you exactly where it came from, but I will either have the answer or I will tell you, I don't know where, this is all I've got, but go and talk to this type of people. Okay. They're the ones that should have the answer you're looking for. By the way, I almost always take a look at certain stations and certain claims and go, always doesn't, it doesn't work. One of the things you got to remember is that the fact you believe it's possible may not be enough. Okay. An obvious example, and there was somebody that did this, government offense post, if you ask me. I can fly. Jumps off a 14-story building. I can fly. Not a good move. Okay. And as they said in Toy Story, that's not flying, that's falling with grace. But I'll tell you, it is not landing with grace. Now, it's up to you to decide, are you going to turn around and start building your own self-confidence through experience? Pick little things with quantifiable results. For instance, I'm going to want to do my dishes. You get up, you go to the kitchen, you wash the dishes, you put them away. Okay, well, wash the dishes, dry the dishes, put them away. You do that often enough, even if you're clumsy to start with, you will come to the conclusion that you've got the confidence to say, I can go and do my own dishes. Simple, straightforward. Okay, I look at it and go, if you're suffering from certain illnesses, I've already got practical experience. I have literally guided people, and you do with this what you will. I've already guided people to cure their own body of lupus, of cancer, of paraplegia. Okay, I've already done this. Now, you get to figure out whether or not I'm full of it or whether or not I'm being honest. Because I'm not about to argue the point. Okay, I literally had somebody tell me one day, I don't believe you. I went, okay. Well, aren't you going to prove it to me? I looked at him and went, no. I said, I frankly don't care enough. What, you don't care about me? I said, no, I really don't. I said, frankly, I met you a minute and a half ago. Why would I care about you? Aside from the fact that you're a person looking for help. You desire help, I'll tell you how to do it. But is it going to matter to me if you don't? Let's face it. If you're sitting there and you're having financial troubles and you're on the edge of bankruptcy, and a bankruptcy trustee is telling you, go bankrupt, it's the best thing for you, I will politely disagree. Now, I am no financial advisor. Absolutely, Steve, it really would. Steve goes, if you were lying, you would be defeating the whole point of this channel. Absolutely, I would. Besides that, I can't remember what I said 3 seconds ago. I'm not about to try and remember the rest of it. Rachel Andrews, how you doing? Glad you could join us. The neat part about it is this. Okay, I will quite readily answer the questions people ask. Okay, if you're a little lost, absolutely drop me a line. Okay, Positive Perspectives, the free newsletter, and Positive Perceptions. I don't charge it all for, and therefore any contributions to either, to either one of them, I do not pay for, because of the only thing I do is I will put your name as a byline with it. I appreciate that, Ellie. The fact of the matter is, even my mom, just before she died, and now bear in mind, mom and dad used to tell me I was out of my mind, right? That I needed serious help. And then the same year that my dad died, my mom calls me aside and she goes, "You know why I believe what you're telling me about all your alien interactions?" I'm thinking, you spent 40 years of my life telling me I was nuts. No, I really don't. I didn't tell her the nuts thing, but I did look at her and went, "No, Mom, I really don't get it." And she goes, "Look, your entire life, you've told us these things. And even when Dad and I tried to coerce you into changing your story, you absolutely refused to change even one word of it. That's how I know it's real." Okay, do I have proof? The proof I end up coming up with. Okay, the proof I come up with, unfortunately, usually takes 20 to 30 years to find it. The one thing that I will tell you is whether you believe you can or you believe you cannot. Inevitably, you're likely to be right. Okay, but I am quite willing to loan my confidence in you to assist you improving yourself in spite of your belief structure. Okay, that you can accomplish things you thought were beyond your reach. There was a client last I knew. She wasn't a client, she was a coworker. She was on the verge of losing everything. I sat down with her, laid a few things out financially. I'm no financial advisor by the standard of I've never taken a course in financial advising. I got 61 years of stupid maneuvers that have said, you do this, you're pretty much hooked. You do this, you're pretty much going to land on your feet. This is all I do. I turn the lights on and go, there's the hiccup. Okay, it's up to you to put the tools to work. Because I'll tell you, the best tools in the world are absolutely useless if you don't pick them up. That's just the backbone of the reality. And this is why I have no question in my heart. Well, that's not true. I operate differently, really. But I am focused wholeheartedly, as close to it as possible, on the concept that my other half and I are going to end up married in the next little while. Okay, don't know how long yet. Got a few things. We made some massive breakthroughs. And the fact that she is now telling me point blank, I've already decided it's going to happen. She said, I've already decided that. I'm just trying to work out a few things I've got to get straight in my head. Now, that is something that has taken a long time for her to get to. Okay. From my end, it was like, okay, she's who I desire to settle down with. Now, do understand, I was married once before. Okay. That marriage did not work. But when it came apart, I was the one that pulled the plug on it. Okay. But understand, my marriage came apart because of a shift, not because of finances or fidelity. To this day, my other half and my former wife and I still get along and still help each other. To this day, this is 15 years after our divorce. No, a little longer than that now. 2007. Yeah, so I guess what? 17 years now? Okay. We've been divorced longer than we were married. Nope. We had an 18-year relationship. So we're just about halfway. We're just about matching time. But the reality is this. I don't hold anybody's past against them. Like, I don't even have so much as a speeding ticket to my name. Okay. I've got 2 bankruptcies, but I don't have a speeding ticket. This does not mean I didn't drive fast. Okay. It means, in spite of not having any criminal or any tickets against me, most of the people that I connected with have a shadowed past. Okay. Criminal records for breaking and entering, for armed robbery. Most of the people I know had some sort of negative past. What I'm offering is simple. I've got insights into this world based on well over 100,000 clients that say that the guidelines that I work with work. It's up to you whether you're going to sink the effort into making your life better. I can guide you. I have no doubt about that at all. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and tell you your belief is wrong. Your belief may not be the one I have. Okay, odds it probably isn't. But I'm not going to tell you your belief is wrong. I certainly will not tell you your idea doesn't have merit, or you can't write well enough, you can't paint well enough. Okay, I'm not going to tell you these things are not possible. Okay, I am not the one to judge that. I'm the one to say, I look at the way I draw going, yeah, that's just not up to my standards. Think about it. The best cartoonists in the world, okay, they make lots of money. That was somebody about 5 years ago. They made a cartoon about stick men, and it got on TV. Do not make the mistake of underestimating your own ability. Okay, what you are capable of doing. And yes, the reality is you develop self-confidence. And sometimes that boils down to telling yourself, I can do it. I can do it. You remember the little engine that could? I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. Way back when I was a kid. Okay, this was commonplace. Okay, now you get the cartoons going, oh, you're such a loser. You can't get along with anybody. This is what we're teaching each other. I'm telling you, the teaching is flawed. Now, you can keep listening to it, absolutely. But frankly, if you're interested in listening to somebody tell you, you can't do it, I'm thinking you wouldn't likely be sitting in the chat room. Now, just a curiosity, but I'm curious, and LA, you're the one that's got the information right now. How many people at our peak did we actually have in the room today? It's just a curiosity thing. And rest assured, the numbers that are in the room are not what I'm basing whether I continue this. Because what I figured out was this. My talking to you guys, really, I sit here thinking sometimes I'm talking to myself. But in doing that, I have redesigned the path I'm walking on and am attaining the success that I personally desire to reach. Okay, am I willing to meet people for coffee or to come to your town and stand up and do an event on a stage in front of you? Absolutely. Oh, there we go. LA goes, we had 9 in the chat room today. Okay, 624 subscribed. Thanks so much for the information there, LA. The fact of the matter is, I am not stopping this because we're down at the 9 people. Okay, you guys, if you weren't interested, wouldn't be here. Okay, if I had nobody, whether I'd be doing this or sitting in my room thinking to myself, I don't know. But the fact you guys are taking the time out of your day to share your time with me, with us, that's why I'm still doing it without even thinking about it. Okay, and we are climbing. My point is this: you can sit and listen to somebody, You can go, you can sit on a hard, on a hard bench or on a lawn and listen to somebody tell you how you are a failure, you are a disappointment in whoever's eyes they claim. Okay, you can absolutely listen to them. Okay, I'll tell you, the only person you got to worry if you're a disappointment to is the one looking back at the mirror, the one looking back from the mirror. That's the one you look at and go, are they disappointed in you? If they are, I can show you how to bring that approval back to the front. Okay, and yes, that sounds like a very cocky claim. Okay, the reality of it is what it sounds like. Absolutely, all I'm doing is turning on the lights. You're putting the effort into changing your life. Okay, you're the only one that can. And for those of you that think otherwise, okay, no, there isn't a soul out there. There isn't an entity out there that's going to come down and go, okay, yep, we're going to make your life better because you believe the same thing I do. So I like you. I'm going to make your life better and put you down there. Nice kid. You, I don't like what you're doing. Forget it. Not going to do it. Nobody does that for you. Sorry, guys. You desire your life to change. You're the one going to be putting the effort in. Now, we've just got the 5-minute warning mark here. So, quite frankly, tomorrow we go into literally the issue of giving you active. We're going to go further into the idea of showing you how to build your own self-confidence in a practical fashion. Bring your questions, even if it's not the same topic. Bring your questions. Okay. I will do my best to answer them. That said, thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. Really appreciate it. Okay, quite frankly, this is about you guys. I will be back again tomorrow, but until then, do take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.